This is the Tropic Pianist Gamers podcast, episode 34, Accepting Neurodivergence in Adult Life. Today, my guest is Emma Sales. Emma, would you like to introduce yourself properly?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Emma Sales. I am a woman who, well, at the moment, I'm waiting for diagnosis still for ADHD and autism. I've had a bit of an interesting diagnosis journey, and so I am proudly able to say that I have ADHD and I'm autistic without an official diagnosis as yet. And I'm a health and life coach, and I have a son, and yeah, that's about me. I live in the Peak District as well. So
Cool. Yes. Peak District is a brilliant part of the country. Yes. So leading up to your kind of self-diagnosis, you said you had a sort of rocky kind of journey to it. So can you tell me more about your background and what led you up to it?
yeah, so I after I had my son was born in 2018, and I had a really horrific postnatal depression the year after. And then I kind of realized I was just stuck in every which way, and I started working with a coach in very early 2021. And we'd been working together about 2 months, and she said to me, "Have you ever considered you might have ADHD?" And I basically laughed in her face because I didn't know anything about ADHD at the time, which is quite bizarre because as somebody at the time, I've got quite a varied group of friends, and I'm quite inclusive, and I know about quite a lot of different backgrounds and issues. And I just thought that ADHD was for naughty boys in school still. I had a very, very old stereotypical view of what it was all about. And when that was mentioned to me and I was sent a traits list, and I was just like, oh my God, this is a big thing. This is huge. And so it was a massive revelation for me. And I went for diagnosis through the NHS. And then I got to the point of assessment, and the NHS told me that they couldn't give me an ADHD diagnosis because they suspect I may also be autistic. And the autistic traits that I've got, I'm asking what they needed to see to give me an ADHD diagnosis, so that I've probably got both things, but they couldn't help me with either. And I had to go back and start from the beginning, which was amazing, which was the best news that I've ever heard. And it just kind of made me realize just how awkward it is and how convoluted it is. And accepting autism as a part of myself was a whole different kettle of fish to accepting ADHD, because there's so much more stereotyping and stigma and ableism around autism itself. So it's been quite a journey, but now I've learned so much, and I've spoken to so many professionals and different people, that I am still waiting for a diagnosis, but um, I'm confident I can see how it fits, and it is really helping me to have the knowledge basically around both ADHD and autism.
Cool. So, at the point at which you became clear in yourself that you had it, how did that make you feel?
Well, I mean, it's a relief to know that I'm not just crap. I mean, until I spoke to the coach, until ADHD became sort of entered my vision of sight, I'd always just thought that I was a little bit rubbish and that I couldn't really fit in anywhere, and that nobody really understood, or that I was missing something in life, missing something in communicating with other people. I was so many different, there were so many different versions of me. Um, being like a chameleon is kind of a very common thing for neurodivergent adults, because we've spent our entire childhoods masking and trying to fit in with a particular group of friends at a particular time, that it can be really, really challenging to sort of think, hang on a minute, who am I really then? And you sort of have to start this whole other journey of self-discovery. But it was a massive relief to find out that I'm not just rubbish. And with ADHD, it was mainly relief. With autism, there was a lot of confusion around it, because I'd never I'd never really been able to see how I could be autistic. A few people had said to me, look at these traits. Can you identify with those? I'm like, well, no, I can't really. And then once it was said to me by a medical professional, I was like, right, let's read more about this. Let's do some more studying and look into more things in more depth. And there's a couple of main points for me. The most impactful thing was reading Heidi Mavere's book, Your Child Is Not Broken, because she talks about her son going into autistic burnout as a teenager. Now, when I was 14, I basically had a breakdown and stopped going to school. I was sick, I had headaches, I was really ill, and I was eventually diagnosed with neurosis after having all the tests under the sun done. I was told it was anxiety, I was given antidepressants. Now, listening to that book, it's like, oh my God, when I was 14, I had autistic burnout. And that was a really I mean, I've got goosebumps literally now talking about it. It was such a big moment in my life. Like, oh, right, okay, this is a thing. And then I started reading more about masking and how in girls in particular, because we are naturally more nurturing, we find it easier to sense what people around us need, or in a lot of cases, I'm not talking in every case because that would be, I mean, I'm making sweeping generalizations because they apply to me, but not in every case. But generally, autistic girls are highly empathetic and therefore mask more easily. So you would never know that what is going underneath the surface. And it really, really helped me understand a lot about why I am like I am now. So when ADHD was a relief and I could instantly see, oh, this is that, this is that, this is that, this is that. With autism, once I started delving into it, it has made me a lot more understanding of myself as a child and how I function now and how I communicate now.
Yeah, relief is the main word there, definitely. So when you were before your self-diagnosis, were there any questions that you were fed up of being asked all the time?
I think the main thing for me was around why I'm always late. That is I mean, a lot of my friends, for quite a few of my friends, I am the only person they allow to be late without completely going mad at them because I really, really try. Like, I really, really, really try. I have the ability to make trains late. My mum is the most punctual person you would ever meet, and I have the ability to make her late. And it's just like I swallow time. And why can't you just leave 5 minutes earlier? I don't know. I would love to leave 5 minutes earlier, but I just, it just doesn't happen for me. So like that, and why can't you just is a thing. Or just set a reminder, or just do this, just do the thing. It's like, no, I always felt like I was just really rubbish for not being able to just do it like other people seem to be able to so easily. And so yeah, that is the thing. I mean, I would highly recommend, if you've got someone in your life that is not doing a thing that they should be doing, there is a reason for that. They're not just being awkward.
Yeah,
That's the bigger piece of information. People don't just not do things for the sake of it. There's always a reason.
fair enough. So based on that, have you got any tips for managing in adult life with autism and ADHD?
I think knowing that it's okay to ask for different things if you need them. So knowing that it's okay that if the music is too loud, you can ask for it to be turned down. Knowing it's okay to say no if you don't want to go to places that you don't want to go to. I mean, that applies to everybody, not just neurodivergent people, but knowing that it's okay to not conform, I suppose, to what is expected of us as a race, as the human race, not knowing that it's okay to be who you are and not have to do things is a huge thing. And just trying to be as open in communication as possible and be honest. if you find something hard, say, I'm finding this hard. You know, there's always, people don't judge us as much as we think they're going to judge us.
Yeah.
And you know, it's kind of the same advice for everybody, whether you're neurodivergent or not. But with neurodivergent people, obviously, the questions, the sort of need for more support is more prevalent. But yeah, I think just try to be open and be forgiving of yourself. You know, don't beat yourself up for stuff, because with neurodivergence, we get sensitive to rejection, and as soon as you start beating yourself up for something, it becomes harder. I was speaking to a family, excuse me, last week, and their son is doing his A-levels, and it's just, he's getting to the point where he's finding things harder and harder and harder and harder. And I'm like, that's because there's more pressure. The more pressure, the more we do things wrong, because things are harder, so they're more difficult. So you do them, you know, you're not perfect. Then we beat ourselves up for not being perfect. We beat ourselves up for not being able to stand the pressure. And then the more we beat ourselves up, the harder the pressure is, and we just kind of crumple into a tiny ball. So just take a step back and breathe and give yourself the grace. You know, allow yourself to make mistakes. And I know it's not as easy as that, and it's easy for me to say. It sounds easy for me to say.
Well, I'm all about the objective of not being perfect, so that fits in nicely with that there. Yeah. So, how do you help people now? Because you're a coach, aren't you?
I am. I'm an accredited health and life coach. I work with parents of neurodivergent children, but predominantly at the moment, I'm working with adults who are adjusting to their own neurodivergence. So I have workshops that are going to be on-demand webinars by the time of broadcasting, that are available to buy, that basically help people decide whether they need to go and be assessed. Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of when you find out about neurodivergence, it seems at the moment it's happening a lot. The reason it's happening a lot is because when we were kids, the knowledge wasn't there. So now we're like having to catch up. So all of the adults at the moment that are being assessed and that are coming out, oh, I've got ADHD, I'm autistic. There's so much like, I don't want to be just another person that's doing that to make excuses. That's never the case. If you're identifying with one of these conditions, you are not just making excuses for yourself. So I have workshops around sort of that subject to help people decide whether an assessment is for them or whether they don't need one and they can just self-diagnose and know that their own brain is working okay as it is. And they don't need a piece of paper to say, yes, this is the thing. It doesn't have to be a prescribed condition. And I have a group coaching program for sort of the next level of when you have decided that you're accepting your own neurodivergence. How do we create some coping strategies? I do some work around rejection and control and reframing it and seeing the positives, learning how to go easy on ourselves and all that stuff. So I have one-to-one group coaching and my webinars, which are on demand or will be very, very soon. I've just recorded one of them this morning, which is exciting.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, that's.
There was something about books that we wanted to talk about as well, wasn't there? Would you like to tell us about the books?
Yeah. So I will eventually be doing a workbook to go with the webinar that is about exploring neurodiversity. But as of today, I believe now, I'm live on Amazon, the book that I co-authored, which is called Living with Adult ADHD, Embracing the Chaos with a Smile. It's a collection of short stories by a number of different people who have adults who have ADHD, whether they've were found out about it later in life or earlier in life. It's just the positive side. A lot of it is quite funny and uplifting, and it's about how it doesn't have to be a negative. I mean, our brains are amazing, and you have to be able to laugh at yourself sometimes. I shared something on my Facebook yesterday, which is mentioned in the book, which is about the day that I brought the Tesco shopping trolley home from Tesco with me because I walked straight past the trolley bay. I'm pretty sure that's mentioned in this book. But yeah, it's quite a fun, should be quite an uplifting read. And that is on Amazon. Now the author is Bernadette Ashton, the official author. She's the lady that arranged it, put it all together and sorted it. But I've got a chapter in there, so that's exciting.
Yeah, and it's great timing as well because it's Autism Awareness Month at the moment. So raising awareness again and knowing that there's a lot more help out there than there used to be is quite important as well. So
Yeah.
Thanks for being my guest today. How can people find you if they want to work with you?
So I'm really easy to find on social media. My name, Emma Sales, is not the most common of names, so I'm quite easy to find. And I've got my website, which is www.emmasalescoaching.com. So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn as Emma Sales Coaching. So it's very easy, and I'm usually on all of the things all of the time. So dropping me a message is almost definitely going to get to me pretty quickly. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So thanks for coming on to talk to me today. Hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you for having me. It's been great to chat.
This podcast episode is sponsored by Abigail Pritchard. Abby practices physical therapy at her clinic in Irvine on the outskirts of Carnarvon and in Colwyn Bay. You can find her Facebook page at Aphoria, North Wales. Her speciality is musculoskeletal therapy, treating those with chronic and acute pain. She provides an array of treatments from acupuncture and other Chinese medicines to the holistic and sports therapies. She is now planning on introducing EMDR to the clinic. EMDR therapy means eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It is a specific treatment to help you process and recover from traumatic memories. It is a comprehensive psychological therapy to reduce negative thought processes while boosting positive thought processes. It is a highly effective therapy treatment and a relatively simple process as experienced by the client. The therapy is rapid and the client is not required to remain in prolonged therapy sessions. Just 2 to 5 sessions can prove to have positive outcomes depending on the individual's requirements and presenting issues. This particular type of therapy can play a pivotal role for neurodivergence conditions, mental health issues and trauma. EMDR is an evidence-based therapy recognised by the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence, NICE, and the World Health Organization, WHO, as a treatment for PTSD. The therapy is delivered bilingually in Welsh and English. It's available every Sunday between 9:30 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. at the unit in Velinelli. For more information, contact Abby Pritchard on 07871 556 811.